Everybody. So my name is Kerry Chandler, and I'm going to be teaching you about Canvas conferences and how you can use those in the social studies classroom in an online distance learning environment concurrent with your in-person teaching or not, depending on what the situation may be as things develop this semester. A little bit about me. I am a teacher of 13 years teaching, 10 at Conroe High School. I teach dual credit U.S. history. I'm also the AP coordinator at Conroe High School, so I am in charge of all the AP registration and testing and all that. And I've taught various other subjects, 7th through 11th. I also have a background in technology. I've worked for technology companies in the private sector, both before and while being a teacher, and have also, for a while, ran my own business doing technology consulting for school districts. I am very at home with technology, and sometimes I get to going a little fast and feel like I'm giving you too much. Which is if you do get to feel that way at this, thankfully this is pre-recorded and you can pause, rewind. But I will try to go slowly and kind of talk to you about. First of all, we're going to talk about how to use the conferences function in Canvas to effectively have good interactive teaching with your students. And then, time permitting, we will go over some other tools that are at your disposal, both in Canvas as well as tools you can download on your own. So let's go ahead and get started. First, what I'm going to be doing to demonstrate a lot of this is I'm going to be looking at one of my Canvas courses from this summer. I taught dual credit summer school, and it is not showing up on my dashboard at the moment because it's done. But let me go into my all courses here in Canvas and see if I can bring that up. Should be under past enrollments. Let's see. So there's one of them, and then there's the second one. I'm going to look at the second semester. In this, I will not be looking at any confidential student information. There will be student names that show up, but that's it. But per FERPA, we don't want to show any confidential student information. So all you'll be seeing are student first names and last names, nothing that could be considered a violation of the uh, Federal Education Right to Privacy Act. Okay, so when you're going in Canvas, the first thing we want to do when we're looking in a Canvas course is we're going to go all the way down here to the bottom of our little links on the left-hand side to settings. And when we click on settings, uh, we should be able, normally we'll have a tab here called navigation where we can set up uh, what shows up here on the left and in what order. Because this course has been finished, it doesn't let me edit the navigation. But what I'm going to do is essentially you have all these tools over here: rubrics, StudyMate, Britannica School, Google Drive, and you see where the little eyeball with a cross line through it is what students cannot see. These are and so these are the things that were made invisible to students. I don't use the announcements page, etc. But anyway, all these things will be there in your Canvas course. And then when you go to settings and you go to the tab that I'm not seeing here called navigation, you're able to then drag them to whatever order you want. For my students, our class basically lived in conferences and modules, and that was it. So I put conferences and modules up at the very top, and nothing else really mattered for my students. They only needed those two things. When I go to modules, you see essentially there's their final exam. Everything was done online, and I'll show you how we did online testing as well, because that may be something that you're interested in. But we'll come back to that. I had information on their outside reading, and then every unit, I have them collapsed now. We were on unit 10 at the end, and so you can see all their assignments here. A lot of these are Google Cloud assignments that are integrated through Google Drive. That is a really great tool, and if you have an opportunity, if you don't know about that, and you have an opportunity to get some instruction on that, during district-wide or at your own campuses, I highly recommend it. It was something that, even though I've been using Canvas, I was talking about my tech background. I was one of the original teachers that piloted Canvas um, way back years ago. Like, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but it was at least 2 years before district fully adopted Canvas as a like mandatory thing. Um, and anyway, when we first when we first used Canvas, I kind of got set in my ways of the things I like to use Canvas for. And then it kind of, I had to grow to learn new things. And like, for instance, this summer was my first dealing with the Google Cloud assignments. And I found that that was actually had some really great positive sides to it. It did have one major negative drawback, and that was that it did not allow integration with Turnitin plagiarism checker. So it's one of those things I'll use in a situation where I'm not worried about plagiarism. But anyway, I'm going to move off of that and get to our main event, which is conferences. So I'm going to click on conferences, and it's going to take us to something that looks like this. And ordinarily, I would have right up here where it says new conferences and it says there are no new conferences, I would have an option to create a conference. And I'm going to go in my sandbox in a minute and show you how to do that. But first, actually, what I want to do is I'm going to look at um, one of my some of my previous Canvas sessions that we did. And so I'm going to look at I named them, and I'm going to look at this July 8th afternoon session. You can see I recorded it. It was 1 hour and 49 minutes. We're not going to watch the whole thing. But I'm going to show you what it looks like when you record it and how the video looks. I'm going to mute the audio on that. So I don't, I think I have the audio muted on the recording for you guys anyway, but you may be able to hear it still. I'm still hearing it in my headphones a little bit because I didn't fully mute it. But so you can see there, I have a slideshow. This is a Google slideshow that I'm clicking through. What I did for the Google slideshow was I uploaded it as a PDF, and that allows the that just makes it work better. I believe that I know you can just share your screen and then any animations or anything you have will work, but it doesn't let you share the audio when you share your screen. So that is one consideration, is if you have videos in your slideshows or in your presentations, I will show you in a moment how to show video with audio and all that good stuff when we go to my sandbox. But I wanted to show you what it looks like when you're recording yourself going over a presentation. So in this case, I was the only person to have my camera on. My students had the option to share their camera, and I think that a lot of teachers are going to want to make that mandatory. I did not make it mandatory because I feel like a lot of students are very shy about being on camera. Um, and let me back up a little bit. You can see something I did here. So here I'm actually, there's tools in conferences, and so you can see I'm on this graph, on this chart. I'm actually going to be drawing. I'm going to be drawing lines there. And at first I was using the freehand tool, and I was like, wow, that's not a straight line. And I say to myself, wow, is there a straight line tool? And then I discover, yeah, there's a straight line tool. So I hit the undo button, and then I think I figured out the straight line tool here in a second, but you can see I've drawn the straight lines, then I've zoomed in and I'm showing them, the difference. I'm zooming in on parts of the graph, and I'm basically highlighting different, in this case, I'm highlighting different presidencies basically, and kind of showing like some various things. But anyway, so I go through and I continue. This is mostly me just lecturing, which I know is the big no-no, but sometimes it's something we have to do in history. And I found that this was a much better way than me just recording myself, because students could interrupt me and ask questions. Students could, uh, which I know is ironic because I'm pre-recording this. But anyway, students could interrupt me and ask questions. They could type questions in the chat. I'm trying to see if I see if anybody asks me anything in the chat. And then I could also, they could go on microphone, or even pop up on video to, they could even pop up on video to ask me questions, to interrupt. So you can see why I was teaching about the 60s and the 70s here. But anyway, I was trying to see if there's any. So right over here where I'm moving my mouse to the right of my video, that if anyone speaks in the chat, anybody types in the chat, then that shows up right there. See if there's any. Yeah, so there you can see this student. I had told the students that their homework was they're going to need to read this PDF about social Darwinism, and so the student Blanca came in and said the social Darwinism PDF is locked. So that's the kind of thing where if I recorded myself giving them information, and then they don't have a way to interact with me, then I would not be able to get that question until later. Okay, so I'm going to play just a little bit of one of my recorded sessions from a day that I did a more interactive activity with my students. What 10? Does anyone know what they did and what happened to them specifically? Because it was worse.
They went to Congress, and when they were accused of being communist. They were a bunch of screenwriters, and when they went to Congress for the hearing, they said this is in violation of the First Amendment, and didn't get a charge for being communist, but they got contempt of Congress, I think.
Yes, exactly. So you could hear there a student answering. So when they mic up, you can hear them. When they type in the chat, you can see it, and it all records. I think this is great because this, for a number of reasons. I mean, one, if students aren't able to attend the lesson on time, they can go back and view these recordings from like the whole semester. They're probably very excellent for studying for their test and other things. All right, so I'm going to move forward a little bit in this lesson. This was a interactive lesson, and so I broke the students up into groups and for each of these, and we're going to see what that looks like. Separate you guys into two breakout rooms. Half of you are going to be on the Julius and Ethel Rosenberg breakout room, and your job is going to be in a separate browser window to type in this address exactly as it is written there. No www, no capital letters, bit.ly/Rosenberg case file. This will take you to a Google slideshow with 5 or 6 primary sources for you. So I want to step in at this moment and full disclosure, this lesson was developed by my excellent student teacher, Joanna Eastman, or Revelino now. She's married, who taught at Conroe High School for 2 years after being my student teacher and is now teaching in California. It's an excellent lesson I love to use on the Rosenbergs and Alger Hiss. For those of you U.S. history teachers interested, just go to those bit links there, and those are Google slideshows with primary sources. And kind of the idea is you have the students break into groups, and then they discuss as a group based on their evidence whether they think their person is guilty or innocent, and then the class comes back together and explains, makes their cases. But I'm going to bring back the audio. Once we get started, we'll do 15 minutes. So then, we're going to see what it looks like when I do a breakout group. So the breakout group has gone in, and it is not recording me talking right now. It looks like in the recording. And so when they're in the breakout rooms, those don't get recorded. By the way, you'll notice here in the chat, I'm having a discussion with this student. This was something that happened occasionally. I would say 1 or 2 students a week would end up having this issue over the summer school where they weren't hearing the audio or they weren't seeing the video or their microphone wasn't working, whatever. And it was as simple as leaving the conference and coming back to it. When you come to the conferences, if there's a conference in session, it says join. And so that's all the students have to do. But anyway, so I put the students into the breakout rooms, which I'm going to show you how that works in a minute. And while they're in the breakout rooms, I turned off my camera. And what I was able to do is I was able to go in and listen in on their rooms. I could listen in on their conversations. Or something in between. I could listen in on their conversations. I could talk to them, and it would not record me. It wouldn't record it. So in all this, I'm going back into the rooms and making sure that it's not recording them, and I'm not being recorded. So I'm not sure why that is. I kind of wish it would record the breakout rooms. I guess it can't really because they're separate little rooms, but it would be useful if it would record them. But you know, either way, that's what happens. And so once the breakout rooms are over and I kick them back out to the main
That
room,
Julius is guilty and
we're back then
up.
we're all
There we
back
are.
in, and the
Okay,
students can
so
talk.
let's
And
see. So the audio was being weird for me. It was
so
kind of strange.
anyway,
Trying to, and so
and
he
so we
was
finished the
actually he
lesson.
was a useless spy, but he was definitely a
All
spy.
right. And so that is that. So you've seen now kind of what it looks like recorded. Now we're going to go into my dashboard. We're going to open up my sandbox course where I can mess around and create things. And I'm going to go to conferences and see if it'll let me make a conference. All right. And so there's actually a conference in progress right now. It says, I don't know what that's about. In that, I think that was probably from the day that I did my training on conferences this summer, actually for summer school. So I'm going to click plus conference. I'm going to name my conference DWSD demonstration. All right. The type is Big Blue Button. That is the company that we use their software. Canvas uses their, should say, Canvas uses Big Blue Button as the software for this conference. It will by default make it 60 minutes, but I always just click the no time limit button. I also almost always will click enable recording for this conference. I go invite all course members, but then I also click remove all course observer members. So the thing is, every time you create a conference, it's going to send an email to all the people that are invited to that conference, telling them when the conference is. And I think it even gives them a link to click to get into that conference. And so you probably don't want to be sending an email to every single student's parent every single day, right? That's going to be kind of crazy. So if you go invite all course members, but then remove all course observer members, it sends the invites to the students, not to the parents. And I believe it will also send it. It'll send one to you, and it will probably send one to any other teacher you have added to your to your Canvas course, such as an administrator. I know on my campus we add administrators to our courses as teacher copy only, and we add co-teachers to our courses as teacher full access. And so they should get it also. And so I can add a description here. This is a conference for teaching social studies teachers about Canvas conferences. All right. And I click update. All right. And so it has created it. And so I click start, and now it's open. All right. And so when I come in, it's going to ask me how I want to join the audio, microphone or listen only. And normally I would click microphone, but I'm not sure how that's going to work with OB. It'll probably be fine. So I tell it allow, and it's going to do this little test where I'll hear myself talking. I click yes, I heard myself talking. And so now I am in this conference, and it is going. So you see a bunch of stuff over here. First of all, I've got a phone number here. I can have if a student does not have the technology to join my conference by computer, I can send them this phone number and this code, and that is a special one-time pin, and it will allow them. They can call that number, enter that pin number, and they will be in the conference by phone. So I think that is so awesome. If you have students who their internet is acting up or whatever, if they have a working phone, they can still join your conference as long as you can get that information to them. You can also click this link to invite a guest, and you just email basically this link, and it will allow a person who's not part of your course to come and view it. I'm not sure when you would want to do that, but it's there for you. Some important tools on this page. I'm gonna zoom out my resolution a little bit. So actually, no, this is probably fine. So we have a start recording. I click this, and that's what starts the recording. this is tells you all the things you can do. These aren't clickable buttons. It's just telling you all of the tools available to you. You've got chat, both public and private. You've got webcams for you and all members. You can, for any member, you can click on them and you can set their status, and they can do this to them. I'm sorry, they can do this to themselves. Any member can click themselves, and they can set status, change. They can applaud. And it shows that they applauded. They can clear the status. Then they can, if they have a question, they can set status to raise hand, right? And it'll show on my screen. It'll show, Carrie has raised his hand, right? And so that's a really useful thing. You can mute users.
You are now muted.
So I muted myself, but you can do that to any of the students. You can lock any of the students' status to prevent them from leaving, or not leaving, prevent them from moving to different rooms if that's an option in the first place, which I never made it an option. But if you can create sub rooms. I'll show that in a minute. What we call breakout rooms, and the breakout rooms you can make them to where the students can move between them or where they're stuck in them. I always made them stuck in them. I didn't see a reason to do that. Um, but anyway, you've got a lot of stuff here. You've got this multi-user whiteboard. So you click on multi-user whiteboard, and now everybody, not just you, can draw on it, and that allows students to, if you're doing, something where you want students to come to the board basically and write, you can do that. You of course have these tools over here. You saw me using some of these in the in one of those recordings. Okay, sorry for that break in the recording. I sneezed and then I turned off my microphone and recorded another 15 minutes of content that I'm gonna now redo. So awesome. Uh, the wonders of working from home. I highly suggest just sneeze into the microphone and let people be upset about it because that sucked. All right. Well, what I was doing when all that broke is I was just showing you that you can draw on the screen and stuff. And I feel like that stuff's actually super intuitive. So I'm going to show you some other things in this now instead. First of all, if you want to show your video, you click share webcam. That's it. It's not going to work for me because I'm using my webcam right now to record this video, but you just choose the level of quality you want it to be at, and that's it. And then your video will be there. You can share your screen, and it'll give you options of sharing your entire screen, a specific application window, or a specific window of Chrome, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to do that. You can leave the audio by pressing that, and then you won't be able to hear it. You can mute yourself by pressing that and mute yourself. So all very, very simple stuff. And you can also do a number of things here. You can start a poll. You can ask a question, um, give options, whatever you want to do there. You can publish the results. That's pretty neat. You've got the public chat here. I don't know if I showed you the shared notes taking ability, but that's pretty neat. Students can take notes, and then it'll be downloadable as as a text document. And what I used the most was I clicked this little plus action button, and instead of starting a poll, I upload a presentation. And so you can see this is something I did while we were there. So I have gone to my Chapter 1 Art Slides Google Slideshow that I use, and I go to File, Download as a PDF, and I downloaded it as a PDF. I already did that. You could also, if you're in Microsoft PowerPoint, it's File, Export to get the PDF. So anyway, so then what I do is I can just drag that right there, or I can click Browse for Files. I click Upload. Got to remember to click Upload. And then it takes about 30 seconds to upload this is about a 50 slide PowerPoint. And so you see it uploads it pretty fast, and then it has to, ironically, convert the PDF back into a slideshow. So why not just download the PowerPoint? or download the Google Slides. It does say PowerPoint will work, but as you notice here, it says you may upload any Office document or PDF file. We recommend PDF file for best results. Our trainer from Big Blue Button, or from the company that makes Big Blue Button, I can't remember the name, that trained us for this for summer school professional development. She said that PDF just works better. So just use PDF unless you just really have some like animated slides that you're married to. And so it should then show that I actually, there it is. Sorry, so it didn't show up for me because before I started recording, I already had it up and I hit it. Anytime you want to hide this, you just click that and it hides the presentation. And So if I had my video going, this would be smaller and my video would be showing here. And then you saw, of course, on the recording what it looks like in the recording is you've got the big old, presentation here and then the video there. So then I can click through it just like a slideshow. I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard. I don't know if you can see arrow keys on my keyboard to kind of flip through it. And anyway, so that is really neat. And just like I'm using, an interactive whiteboard on campus, I can pull out my little pin here and I can go, look at that giant sloth. Isn't that crazy? And I can make it a multi-user whiteboard. And then a student can go, uh, is, is that, is that an armadillo right there? And it'll even label their pin. You see, when I turn it to multi-user, it has my name next to the pencil so I can see who's doing the drawing. And maybe one of the students wrote something inappropriate, and so I just undo their annotation. Or if I really want to, I can clear it all. And I can also turn off the multi-user whiteboard. And so I've got a lot of things there. I can change my colors. I can change the width of my pencil. I've got all these different tools that I can use. And so a lot of options there. And students also, you see the red dot following my hand there. Students see the red dot while I'm presenting, so I can point at things without drawing on it as well. All that gets recorded. You saw that earlier. So that is this is, I would say, the main thing I did is I did, lectures. Obviously, there's lots of other lessons to do, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But, sometimes teachers have to lecture, and with dual credit summer school, teaching dual credit U.S. history in 5 weeks, the entire 6-hour college course in 5 weeks, there's a lot of lecturing. But the students can hop in with their own audio, they can hop in with their own chat, they can be taking notes. It's all getting recorded. They can pop in with video and have conversations. And I can't show you that because that would violate FERPA that I mentioned at the top of the recording. But I did have one student who was brave and would get on video just to chit chat after class sometimes. And so I had some good conversations with him. So anyway, so that is definitely a thing. And the thing is, you can use this for private conferences as well. And so one thing I did was I had a student that needed to talk to me after class. And so I just had her hang back. And after everyone left the thing, I was able to go over here and go lock viewers, which I can lock what they can do. That isn't what I did though. I feel like there was let me clear this. Um, yeah, I guess I didn't. I was going to say, I guess someone could have popped back in, but I would have seen it as soon as they did. But I stopped the recording, right? That's the one thing. You always have to remember to hit the start recording button. I forgot, I would say we met twice a day, 5 days a week. I'd say I forgot 5 times a week to start the recording. And a student would be like, would in the chat usually tell me that I wasn't recording. Or actually, they would always go, "Are you recording?" It was like, well, no, I guess not. But anyway, so I was able to have private conference with her, and we could talk face to face with video. And there's other ways that you could do this. You could create conferences and not invite them, and then only send the email to that student as well. And so that is also something. But this is definitely a great tool for meeting with students. I'm going to show you how to do a couple of more things with it. So you can also share an external video. And so when you do that, you just type in a YouTube link. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like because it is very interesting. So I'm gonna share this. All right. So I go to plus, share an external video. I go to add video URL, share a new video, and the video shows up here. And I pause it. I can talk. The students can hear me talking over it. I can pause it when I want to. The students watch it in the conference with me. And so we're able to watch videos together. I can adjust the audio, all that good stuff. It's really amazing. And so we watched a documentary together. We watched an episode of The Twilight Zone that's about the Red Scare. The monsters are due on Maple Street. Excellent episode. We watched little video clips, episodes of Crash Course U.S. History, things like that. I could watch them with the students live. They could talk and ask questions. They could type in the chat. They could type in the shared notes. We could all interact. If someone asked me a question, I could pause the video and talk to them. And then when it was time to be done, I could go to stop sharing external video, and it's gone, and we're back to our presentation. So that is really awesome. Now, if I had a video in my PDF or in my Google Slideshow, that won't work. And if I just played my Google Slideshow and shared my screen, the video does work, but there's no audio. So I think the best way to do it, if you've got some really cool video clips that you feel like your students at home need to see, just share it as an external video. Often I would also just put the link in the chat, and if the student clicks it, it's going to take them, it's going to leave them in the conference and open it in a new tab, as you see there. So it's really a great way of doing things. It's such a versatile tool. And I believe if my time is right, we've got a little under 5 minutes left. So I'm going to show you one more really cool thing we can do. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the breakout rooms. I've been kind of teasing that. The breakout rooms, there are some really good things about them. There's some little wonky things. One wonky thing is it will not record the breakout room. It does not record it. I checked earlier. I think we may have recorded me checking earlier. It does not record. What it does record is if I left my webcam on, it recorded me sitting at my desk listening to my students for like 15 minutes, drinking my soda and whatnot, and occasionally rubbing my head. Anyway, I'm gonna this little where it says users, this little gear says manage users. I'm gonna click that, and I've got a bunch of stuff I can do here. But near the bottom, I have create breakout rooms. So when I go to create breakout rooms, it defaults to there being 2 breakout rooms plus not assigned. Anyone you don't assign will be left in the public room. So the most breakout rooms you can do is 8. The first time I did a breakout room assignment, I had 9 topics I wanted to assign, and so I left 2 kids in the not assigned out in the main room with me, and then I sent the others to their rooms. But I can click randomly assign, and it will randomly assign the students to the rooms. I can drag the students to whatever room I want and rearrange them as I like. My choice is mine. I've got all of the students in the conference will be here in the not assigned category at first. I can allow users to choose their own breakout rooms, but I don't do that. I can set the duration of it to whatever I want, but once I create it, at any time, there will be a button I can press that says end breakout room, and then it ends it early. If I click create, you'll see it doesn't work because I don't have I don't have any students in the course right now in the conference but myself, and it will not let me randomly assign the teacher. First of all, it doesn't randomly assign the teacher, and without anyone in the rooms. Oh, it does let me create it. Oh, look at that. And so this is what the students see: join room. And so if you see that students aren't getting into the rooms, it's probably because they walked away from their computer and didn't tell you, and they're sitting here with this join room thing on their screen. But you click join room, and now I'm in a whole other room, and I can join with my audio again, do my echo test, and now I'm in my own special little breakout room. I've got a little timer going here. I see the presentation out there. Um, I am basically being treated as a student right now, so I can't change the slide the way the teacher can, and it tells me the name of the room. And then I am basically the public chat here. I believe, will this go to the main chat? I don't think it will. And so I'm going to, as the teacher, I now have a new option over here, breakout rooms. And you see, I am already in room 1, but I can join room 2, and so on. And it shows that I'm already in the room, and then I can end all the breakout shows when I left the room. So I join room 8. There we go. If I was a student, the teacher just put me in room 8, and now in the teacher window, I see K Chandler is in room 8. But then if the student K Chandler, close that window, then I pop back into this room, and it shows that I'm no longer in there. And as the teacher, I will see join room, and I'll see another option, join audio. I prefer to just join the audio. That lets me stay here in the main area, lets me see the public chat, and you see the public chat from room 1 is not there. Actually, so I was in room 1 a minute ago. Let's see if that if that message that I typed in the chat is there. No, it is not. Was it room 8 that I did that? No, I don't know. Might have been room 2 actually. Um, no, it did not. It didn't save it. That's interesting. I did not know if that would happen or not. So anyway, and then I click end all breakout rooms, and bam, we're all back. And I'm gonna join with my microphone, do my echo test again. There we go. All right, and now my breakout room thing is gone. Also in the breakout room where it shows join room, join audio, like I said, join audio is better because that doesn't require you to change rooms. It allows you to still see the public chat, and anything students might type in it. Well, I don't know actually about that. But anyway, I prefer to just join audio. Lets me hop in and out much more easily. If I do join room, I've got to leave their room first before I can join another one. With the join audio, it's just join audio, end audio, join audio, end audio. So easy. And then I also will see what students are in each room in that thing there. So let me see. So I think we have run up against our time. I have one more thing I want to show you. So I might go just a couple of minutes over, and that is attendance. How do you take attendance? Because it's going to list the students over here in non-alphabetical order. It's just going to be in the order they entered in, right? Easiest thing to do, if you've got 30 students in your class and it says 31 on users, that's you plus 30, they're all there. However, if you have 30 students in your class and it says users 20, that means you're missing 11 students. And so rather than go through and try to pick out who's missing, go to manage users and their save usernames. And it will create a text file. And then you can click on that text file and it tells you their names. Now, there's a problem. It is alphabetical by first name. So still a little annoying to compare to your attendance, but way better way better than having to sit there and pick through. But anyway, that's about it. And when you're done with the presentation, you click stop recording and you click end meeting. And the meeting is over. You can give your feedback on it. I always give them 5 stars. And it takes you back out to your main page, your front page for your course. And I'm going to go to conferences. and I'm going to click end. All right, and so now it's down here in concluded conferences. And if I made a recording of it, which I didn't, then it'll take about an hour for that recording to show up. And then the recording will be there, which we saw earlier. And that is it. That is Canvas conferences. If you have any questions about this, I am happy to answer your emails. I am KW Chandler, KWCHANDLER at Conroe ISD. I teach at Conroe High School. If you want to drop by, wear a mask. And I'm room 115 in the main building. And thank you very much, and have a wonderful day and a good rest of your staff development.